Hello and welcome to this All About Mystery Lake guide video. In this video, I will be going over some key information to help you get familiar with the Mystery Lake region in the long dark. I'll be going over things like transition zones, base options, landmarks, and advice on exploring the region, and much more. Feel free to check out the timestamps in the description to jump to the info you need. Before we start, I'd love to ask you for your feedback about this guide video. It is something that viewers have expressed interest in me doing, and so this is the first guide. Of course, I started with Mystery Lake, but do let me know what you think. Have I missed anything, or maybe do you like the format of it? All those kind of things. I'd love to hear your feedback. Thank you. A very brief background. Mystery Lake was the first region released with the game and is often a fan favorite. It has a train track running through it and at least 3 highly valuable interiors or possible base locations. It's a great balanced map to start on. Mystery Lake is located quite centrally in Great Bear and has 4 transition zones. Map overview. Landmarks. Let's first have an overall look at Mystery Lake. One of the first things you'll notice is the train track running through the region. This can be a very helpful landmark to guide you navigating this map. The train track actually leads directly to/from 2 transition points as well, which can keep you on track, if you're passing through. If it's clear enough, you can see the forestry lookout, which is also one of the Vista points. I will cover Vista points and Polaroids in a later section. There are plenty of interior spaces in Mystery Lake, most famously Trapper's Homestead, Camp Office, and Carter Hydro Dam. Camp Office is commonly used as a main base among players. Mystery Lake connects to Forlorn Muskeg, the Ravine, Winding River, which leads towards Pleasant Valley, and to Mountain Town via a cave. Main bases. As mentioned, Camp Office is often a favorite location for a main base. It is located centrally next to the Mystery Lake, in Mystery Lake, and is inside of the train track. It has a workbench, a pot-belly stove, as well as a 2-burner wood stove. It has beds and plenty of space for storing things, and a lot of cloth that you can break down. The lake nearby offers fishing as well. The prepper cache in Mystery Lake is also not too far from the camp office. I will go over this in another section of the video. Trapper's Cabin is a great option too, as it also has a workbench and a 2-burner wood stove. However, it is a lot smaller than Camp Office. There is also a safe here, which often has rarer items. It is located right next to the transition cave, which leads to Mountain Town, and not too far from the transition to Forlorn Muskeg. Another option could be Carter Hydro Dam. It is rather large and does have a workbench as well. There are a lot of supplies here, including a safe, which again can produce rare items. It is also nearby the transition to the Ravine and to Winding River, which leads to Pleasant Valley. It, however, does not provide a bed, so you will need a bedroll or to sleep outside in the trailers. It does have a fire barrel inside, though. A high-risk element to the dam is that during the aurora, the wires become live and you risk burning yourself. Personally, I really wouldn't choose this base as an option for me, but, each to their own. Transition zones. Transition zones are locations in a main region which let you move into a different region. The Long Dark has main regions, for example, Mystery Lake, and transition zone regions, for example, Winding River. Transition zone regions are those connecting 2 main regions, so are usually smaller than a main region. Transitions to other regions can be one of the following: through a cave or tunnel system, through a transition region, continuous walking, or a combination of the above. In a special case, accessing Winding River through Carter Hydro Dam. Mystery Lake connects to 4 different locations. To Forlorn Muskeg via a rail tunnel. This is located at one of the ends of the train track. You basically just continue to walk through. Mountain Town via a cave system. This is located right next to Trapper's Cabin. The Ravine. At the Carter Dam end of the train track. If you continue to walk through, Then this will lead to the ravine. The ravine leads further onwards to Coastal Highway or to Bleak Inlet. Lastly, Winding River, which can be accessed through Carter Dam. This leads to a cave system, which takes you onto Pleasant Valley. Prepper Cache. There are 9 prepper caches in Great Bear, one of which is in Mystery Lake. A prepper cache is an underground bunker, and they are usually located off the beaten track. Once you enter a prepper cache, you'll find out whether or not it's abandoned. In any save, only 3 of the 9 caches will be filled. This is generated randomly when you start a new game. The 3 filled caches have different types: stockpile, hunting, and conspiracy. They are a great source of high-value loot when filled. The location of the prepper cache in Mystery Lake is not too far from the camp office. You can either use the rope climb to get to the higher area or follow this route around the hill. Facilities. In regards to what facilities are available in Mystery Lake, there are a number of workbenches at Trapper's Cabin, Camp Office, and Carter Dam. Workbenches can be used to craft a wide variety of items. Cooking facilities, so stoves or fire barrels, or for example pot belly stoves, are available at Trapper's, Camp Office, Deadfall Area, Forestry Outlook, Carter Dam, and of course in all the fishing huts on the lake. Fishing, of course, is available on Mystery Lake itself, where there are multiple huts, and there's also cabins by the lake. Loot. As for tools and weapons, this will also depend on the difficulty level you are playing, but there are multiple locations in Mystery Lake where you have a chance to find things such as hunting rifle, hunting knife, hatchet, revolver, distress pistol, hammer, and bow. Less likely to find will be hacksaw and a pry bar. There are 2 locations containing a safe: Trapper's Cabin and Carter Dam. These may hold rarer or higher value items, for example, MRE, mucklugs, ammunition, or stims. Natural resources. Mystery Lake is quite abundant in regard to natural resources. You can find all of the following: rose hips, reishi mushrooms, old bear lichen, cattails, mainly around the areas of water, e.g. the lake, pond, and the creeks, birch and maple saplings, birch bark, acorns, and burdock. Wildlife. You will find all wildlife types in Mystery Lake apart from timber wolves, thank God. But there are rabbits, ptarmigans, deer, wolves, bears, moose, and if you have the DLC content, cougars. In December 2024, there was a wildlife refresh, meaning there were changes to the spawn locations and/or wandering routes of wildlife. Let's go over the spawn locations for moose and bears. Moose can be found near Trapper's Cabin, outside of Camp Office, or nearby the trailers at the logging camp. Bears can spawn near Trapper's Cabin, on Mystery Lake itself, near Unnamed Pond, and also at Clearcut. Wolves spawn in quite a few locations, for example along the train tracks, on Mystery Lake itself, outside Carter Dam. I won't go over all of the spots, but keep a lookout for them. Vista points are locations in a region where if you survey the area with charcoal, it will reveal a greater area of the map compared to when you normally survey. You first need to find the relevant Polaroid. Go to the location and survey the map. It won't work unless you have the Polaroid. There are two Vista points in Mystery Lake. One is at the forestry outlook, and the second at the lake overlook, looking over Mystery Lake itself. Here's an overview of the locations in Mystery Lake you can possibly find Polaroids. In a cave at the top of Lake Overlook, which you need to climb 2 ropes to get up to, on a body uphill across from the logging camp, on a body heading north uphill from Clearcut. Up north from Unnamed Pond, there you will find an isolated cabin, which is one of the locations it could be just under the front door of the cabin, or a little bit further from that, between these two maple saplings, there could be a body on which you may also find a Polaroid. On the steps of Destroyed Lookout. On the far side of Mystery Lake itself, there's a bear den, which contains a backpack, and sometimes here you can also find a Polaroid. Lastly, not too far from where the prepper cache is located, up on this higher plateau, there's also a cave, and here you may find a backpack, which also could have a Polaroid. Routes of exploration. I thought I'd help suggest some possible routes to help you explore and get to know Mystery Lake. I will do this based on starting at certain landmarks. Of course, it will be different for everyone where you start, as you may be starting a new game, spawning into Mystery Lake, or traveling in from another region. But as a general guide as to how you may want to explore the region, here are some routes that I can suggest. Route 1. Starting from Trapper's Cabin, hitting the main points of interest first. So if you start off at Trapper's Cabin, we're going to head straight over to Deadfall. So this area here is called Deadfall. There's a small ruined, broken down cabin here with a cooking stove and sometimes some items. So as we head across to camp office, you're going to look out for this kind of tree archway. As you can see just right in front of me, if you go through this way and just head straight through, you'll already start to see the lines from the train track as well, or the power lines, I guess. From the camp office, you can follow the train track, which will take you past the derailment, the loading area, and take you down to Carter Dam. As a possible detour, you could also head up to the forestry lookout first, and then head back down to the Carter Dam. So at the forestry outlook, there's some loot, of course, up in the cabin, and it's also a Vista point as well. So if you do have your Polaroid, you can do your Vista point and survey the map. So if you do go up to the forestry outlook, you can just go down on the side over here and get back to the train tracks if you want a bit of a quicker route. Just of course always be careful with goading because you can get sprains and stuff like that. And then here we are at Carter Dam. Route 2. Starting at Carter Dam, we're gonna go around the outside of the map. We're gonna do a big round around the outside, if you want to put it like that. So starting off at the dam, we're gonna follow the train tracks initially. Then just after this corner, instead of heading straight along the train tracks, we're gonna actually go to the right, over this way. So coming up on our left side over here, you're gonna see the logging camp. There's a few trailers here and a broken down kind of cabin. Good place for shelter and loot. So along this part here, you can explore a bit more uphill on your right side up into the hills. There are sometimes small bits of, like a backpack or stuff like that. You can always go have a look, and probably resources and stuff like that might be up there. So over here, we're approaching clear cut. Just a warning as well, there can be bear, and in the case of with the DLC, Cougar in this area. So, like I said, if you continue uphill on the right, there's also a few things to look at, resources, and a few maybe items to loot, stuff like that. Just watch out a bit up there, but you can explore a bit more up the hill there. Otherwise, if you want, you can also take this route as the sign is showing you pretty much straight up there. That will take you all the way to the destroyed lookout, which if you like, you can go up there. Otherwise, you can also just continue to head straight across here. So on the other side of this hill, you're going to come down to an area where there are some resources. There's some saplings here. Sometimes you might also find a body here with a bow, or a Polaroid can also be found here, as well as by this little cabin that we're about to get near. But just have a look at the Polaroid and Vista section for more information about that. The shelter can be used, of course, for shelter. And otherwise, we're going to continue to head straight across. See the cabin behind us there, so straight across, once again over a little bit of a hill, and then we're going to see Unnamed Pond. Again, a warning here, a bear can roam around here, and his cave is right to our right side over there, so just watch out for that. But here there's some good resources too, cattails, reishi mushrooms, old bear, and old bear, beard lichen. Why can't I say that? From here though, we're going to continue across straight. Just make sure to kind of on your right side, keep aware that there's the kind of large boundary of wall on your right side. If that stays on your right side, that's good. Just kind of head across this forest. It's going to be a bit flat in the middle, and then we're going to have like a bit of a steep hill to go up. So over the top of this hill, we're going to be able to see Trapper's Cabin. Here we go. Once again, watch out for moose and potentially bear in the area. So obviously from here at Trapper's Cabin, you can also then head out with my first route, hitting some other main points of interest, going across to Deadfall, Camp Office, and the lake, etc. So go check out Route 1 if you want to continue on from here like that. Route 3. In this example, it's not one complete route, but using Camp Office as a base, I have a few suggestions of some different smaller exploratory routes you could do. For example, you could start with a lake sprawl, as I call it, going out onto the lake, check out the fishing cabins and the other cabins by the lake. You could also add to this going up to the lake overlook, which has 2 rope climbs to get up to. From Camp Office, you can also head out to the Forestry Tower and back. You could go to the Prepper Cache nearby. You can head back towards Deadfall and Trapper's Cabin as well. You can also head to the Unnamed Pond and the cabin and clear cut as well, kind of going around the outside that way. Of course, you could also head down the train tracks and go towards Carter Dam. DLC content. I just also wanted to quickly go over some information that may be relevant if you have the Tales from the Far Territory DLC, Vaughn's rifle. This is one of the added rifle variants which can be found at Carter Dam in Mystery Lake or in Winding River, which you can access from Carter Dam. Here is a quick look at some of the locations you can find it. In the Upper Carter Dam near the control panel here, Lower Carter Dam all the way at the end near the window where you can enter from the other side. In Winding River, in a large pipe on the left side of the dam, near the window that you need to use to get back into the dam. Winding River, left of the broken one-way window. Winding River, the cave. Cougar. Mystery Lake is a region where the cougar can spawn. Its initial spawn location tends to be around Clearcut. This shows up on your map directly. The cougar will be audible as you approach. As well, look out for tree markings and ravaged deer carcass. But you'll probably be able to spot it pretty easily because of its color. If you kill it the first time, it will then expand its territory to nearby the trailers at the logging camp. And lastly, around the train tracks between Camp Office and Deadfall. Trader's Radio. With the addition of the trader in the Broken Silence update, there is a trader radio located inside of Camp Office, so you can use this radio to communicate with him from here. So I really hope that you found this guide useful, and I hope I've provided enough information to help you get used to Mystery Lake, get familiar with it, and even just maybe some extra info on where things are located and all the kind of things that are available in Mystery Lake. I just really hope you've enjoyed this overall guide. I really appreciate your thoughts on if you've enjoyed it, if it is actually useful, should I make more of these? But thank you so much for watching, and I really hope to see you in the next one.